Do you ever think about why Blockbuster failed? It wasn't because people stopped wanting to watch movies at home. There was something much deeper going on. And I think there's a lot of similarity between the downfall of Blockbuster and the rise of Netflix and what's going on in web design today. Because see, the difference between Blockbuster and Netflix was not, do I want to go into a physical store and pick up a VHS tape? Or do I want to go online and order some DVDs? Because remember back in the beginning of Netflix, they weren't doing online video streaming because the internet didn't have the bandwidth to put high quality video into people's homes very easily. So they basically streamed the videos through the postal service at first. But that wasn't the difference. The difference was Netflix was looking at the home video industry and noticed that there was two major technological shifts that just took place. One, movies became digital. Right? Like that's the difference between a VHS tape and a DVD is now you got digital movies. And then the second thing is the internet's here now. And so Netflix is looking at that and saying, how can I use this new technology to serve our clients better? Blockbuster, on the other hand, did not adapt, or at least not very effectively. And you can see the difference. We have the downfall of Blockbuster and the rise of Netflix. And I think we can see a ton of overlap in that situation compared to what's going on today in web design with all of this new technology and AI and everything. There's going to be some web designers that are more like Blockbuster who are kind of old school and don't really adapt. And then there's going to be some web designers that are more like Netflix and are looking at this new technology and thinking, well, how can I use this stuff to make, better products and serve my clients better? And that's the big difference. So let's take a look at 5 different ways that we can be inspired by Netflix and apply those ideas to web design today, because the deck is being reshuffled right now and we want to come out on top. Now, step 1, really not even step 1, this is like step 0, is you got to know who your audience is. You have to have a target market or a niche. And if you look at Netflix, you can tell that they know exactly who they're talking to. Like, look at any advertisement they've ever posted anywhere. They know exactly who they're talking to. It's like, okay, it's early adopters of new technology, tech-savvy people, appreciate on-demand services, stuff like that. And you can see that in all of their stuff, all the way down to the colors of their branding. They know what to say, where to put the ads, what to say on their website, what their branding color should be. Like, everything is defined because they know exactly who they're talking to. Now, if you don't know who you're talking to, how are you supposed to know the answers to any of those questions? So if you feel stuck and you don't know, like, what should my niche be or what should my target market be, go ahead and download our Local Market Gems ebook that we just published. It's totally free. It's like the web designer's guide to discovering profitable niches. You'll see over 30 different examples of target markets that are hot right now. Put a link in the description. It's totally free. Grab that. But that's step 0, because you had to have that in place in order to do any of these other steps. So step 1 is, I think, that we can get from Netflix is you got to have recurring revenue. Like, if you've heard any of my other videos, like, we talk a lot about like how if you have like a marketing plan in addition to the website, you can more than triple the value of the client. So that's great for you, but that's also where the results come from for the client. So like, it's a win-win. Like, the clients get better results, you have more income coming in, you don't have to run around finding new clients, you don't have the spiky income and all that stuff. It's like, you got to get recurring revenue into the mix. And it's going to be a combination of like hosting and maintenance and kind of tech support stuff, because that goes on a monthly basis, and some kind of marketing plan that helps your clients actually get traffic, convert the traffic to leads, and then nurture those leads into paying clients. That's a huge thing. So recurring revenue, you got to put a check in that box today, because if you don't have that, you're never going to make a living just selling one and done, low budget websites. So that's thing number 1. Thing number 2 is keep it simple. I mean, like, I have this problem. Whenever I build something, especially something that I'm really passionate about, and then I'm meeting with a client about it, I want to talk about all the nitty-gritty details of all the cool stuff that the client's getting. Problem is, the client can't absorb all of that information, right? Because like, my rate of telling people what I did is so much faster than their rate of learning what I did, even assuming they care, right? They probably don't even care. But like, your rate of kind of being excited about something and the other person's rate of learning the stuff that you said is so vastly different that you're just like feeding them with this water hose here. It's too much, right? And so here's the lesson that we can learn from Netflix. Like, I have a Netflix account. You want to know why I have a Netflix account? I like to watch Seinfeld before bed. That's worth $15 to me. Like, that's it. It's like, I don't really watch movies that much, like, especially I don't like the whole horror industry or whatever. It's like, I'm never going to watch that. I don't like being scared. I like to have fun and laugh and that kind of thing. And I like to watch movies. I like to watch Seinfeld before bed. That's worth $15. I don't really care about the entire database of movies in the whole Netflix library, right? So like, if you made Netflix and were selling Netflix to me and started going through the millions of different movies in the database, I would get overwhelmed and I wouldn't care, and I probably wouldn't buy the product. right? Like I just want to watch Seinfeld. And that's the same idea with web design. It's like when you have your solution, our job, like selling the solution to people, is to figure out what is the client's Seinfeld. Like what is the main thing that they really want? Like what is not performing in their business at the level that they wish that it was? And how does my solution fix that for them? And then just talk about that. Just keep it simple. Just talk about how your solution fixes the problem that they feel the pain around. That's what Netflix does, and that's what we should be doing as well. So that's thing number one. Thing number two is branding the solution. So like one of the things that's really complicated about web design is it's so intricate and abstract, and there's all these different components that make it all work. And so it's very hard to understand. And so what we want to do is like call your solution by a name so that you can encapsulate all of that complexity into one word, right? So same thing with Netflix. Like Netflix is crazy complicated. I mean, just think about just storing all of the videos, like the massive amount of data that they've got, right? And then they've got accounts and authentication and billing and searching and all kinds of stuff, right? There's tons of complexities going on, video compression and everything. So much is going on, but it's Netflix. You just say Netflix and people understand, okay, I kind of get the idea of what's going on without having to go into the nitty-gritty details of everything that's kind of bundled into the solution. We need to do that too, because today, web design is so complicated and there's so many components to the mix. Just call it something and then say, by getting this thing, you're able to create this nice outcome. And that's a huge, huge point that we can take from Netflix and apply that to web design, especially as web design is getting more complicated. Just brand your solution as like a named thing. So you can just say one word and it encapsulates all that complexity. The third thing is nobody cares about your effort. One of the things that I've noticed about web designers, myself included, is I like to talk about how much effort and work that I've put into creating this thing. But imagine if Netflix did that. Like, how much would anybody care if someone said, man, you really ought to subscribe to Netflix because did you see how much work we put into that new video compression algorithm or whatever? It's like, nobody cares about that, right? They just want to watch the movies. They just want to see Seinfeld before bed or whatever. So like, nobody cares about your effort. Now, later on, like after you're already a Netflix subscriber, you might want to be, oh, how does that work? And you might watch a documentary on how it all works and how hard it is to build and all that stuff. But in the beginning, nobody cares about your effort. They care about their results, right? So just ignore that. Like it's like the pricing and the description and the whole sales process, just like it doesn't really matter what your effort is. It only matters what their outcome is. And so that's a thing that I think we can learn from Netflix. The next one is we're not actually selling websites, and Netflix isn't actually selling movies either. So if you look at all of the branding and the advertising behind Netflix, they're not actually telling you, hey, you get lots of movies. Like that's not what the marketing is about. The marketing is about because you're getting lots of movies, now you're having fun, right? So Netflix is actually selling a better day, right? So they're selling fun. They're selling you're having a better day. You're hanging out with friends. You're having snacks on the couch. You're like, watching movies and having a good time. They're selling a better day. And we're selling a better business, right? We're not just selling the website. We're using the website in the same way that Netflix is using movies. Like Netflix is using movies to give you a better day. We're using websites to give you a better business. And so when it comes to the marketing and landing clients, we really need to be focusing and taking a tip from Netflix in the sense that we're not selling the thing that we do. We're selling the outcome of having done the stuff. You see what I mean? And that's a huge takeaway point from watching how Netflix was able to rise to the top. It's like we're selling better businesses, not just the technology behind it. And I think that's a huge point. So all of that is to say, if you haven't picked your niche yet, go ahead and click that link and download the local market gems. Other than that, check out this next video. And now that we kind of have an idea of what the solution is and some marketing ideas, check this out and I'll show you how to get leads for free.